Latinos for Trump. Stop disturbing Black Americans about protesting with you. Just a quick reminder that this is a fair use video. I'll be providing my own commentary and criticism. Let's get started. Latinos for Trump. Your community voted overwhelmingly for the economy, but they also voted for mass deportations. So why do you need Black supporters now when there's really nothing that they can do for you?
We're not the only immigrants. Latinos are not the only immigrants. There's Europeans, there's from Africa, there's from Asia, there's from all over. Where are you guys at? Why are your people not standing with us?
Protesting is not going to reverse your vote, and it's certainly not going to change President Trump's tough stance on immigration policies.
In a phone call with me, former President Trump told me if he's elected, he will end both of those programs immediately. And on top of that, will revoke parole grants for any migrants who already came in via the programs. Take a listen.
I would revoke it and they get out. And the app is bad. But what the worst is the flights. Because, you know, they tried to say, oh, we're going to toughen up the border a little bit. They had planes flying over the border loaded up with illegal migrants, people that shouldn't be in our country, going to the Midwest, going to all places, because everything is now a border state.
What's your message to those 1.3 million who have been paroled in the country and are expecting to stay here?
Get ready to leave, especially quickly if they're criminals. Get ready to leave because you're going to be going out real fast.
I know you don't want to call it upon you guys, but why are we alone in this? Go look at the videos of the protests that are going on. We are fucking alone. It's all brown-skinned people.
So the first thing I want you to remember is that Black Americans are not your backbones.
Where are all the other races? You guys post all these fucking videos about it, but you guys ain't doing nothing with us. Where are you guys? Why are we alone? We support everything when it comes to you guys.
Although Black Americans have always been at the forefront of civil rights struggles, quite often many other groups have failed to learn the lessons of U.S. history.
We are always there for you. And this is why we Latinos are just different. We're different in everything. We're different the way we work. We're different with our morals. We're just different. I think this is why we're so hated, because nobody will ever be like us, because we are always there when people need us.
And many Latinos for Trump actively supported policies that harmed their entire community, ignoring the warnings from others. President Trump himself ran his campaign on mass deportations. So why are you coming back now expecting everybody to reverse everything for you?
But look at right now. We're so alone and we're still standing strong. I think I've never been so proud of being a fucking immigrant Latina in the USA. We're fucking amazing.
Some of you may have thought that you were the exception. Some of you may have agreed with them. But either way, it's fair to say that you may know someone, like a loved one or relative, who could have been affected by the way you voted. So now that some of you or your friends and family members are facing mass deportations, you're pressuring Black Americans to save you. There's nothing we can do for you. Absolutely not, and immediately no. And the next thing I want to talk about to you is the stark difference between the 1960s Black protesters versus the anti-deportation protesters today. Now, if you take a look back at the civil rights protesters of the 1960s, they faced unimaginable brutality. They were attacked with German Shepherd police dogs, blasted by high-pressure water hoses, and choked out with tear gas. Never once did they lash out in retaliation. You never saw the protesters of the civil rights movement out there burning U.S. flags on U.S. soil. In fact, they were wearing those flags, they were carrying those flags, American flags, with pride. Their allegiance was to the United States. You didn't see them out there with these other flags from other countries. They took all the brutality and kept marching. Meanwhile, the police did not unleash the same level of force we've seen used against Black Americans.
That protest started much earlier in the day. It wasn't until nightfall that things really got chaotic. We're talking about officers injured, multiple arrests, and now an investigation is underway. You can see what appear to be water bottles thrown at police officers. We're told rocks and fireworks were launched at them, too. You saw video of that a moment ago. You can see some people holding Mexican flags. This started as a protest against President Donald Trump's immigration policies. Then tensions escalated. A sergeant with the San Bernardino Police Department says a group of about 300 were marching down the middle of Baseline Street toward the 215. Officers blocked the group from getting onto the freeway, and that's when the group and police clashed. 5 officers were injured. Police cars were vandalized. Several dispersal orders were issued, and neighboring law enforcement agencies were called in to help. SBPD says multiple people were arrested for charges, including assault with a deadly weapon against a police officer and battery on an officer. Police say they used less lethal tools to stop and disperse the crowd, but it took quite some time until the crowd did disperse. Police say an investigation is now underway, and they expect more arrests to be made as well. Of course, they will be reviewing a lot of that video footage. They have a lot of. There is much more to come on this.
The difference is clear. In fact, I would argue that you were coddled during your protests. And now you're asking Black Americans to come out there and protest for you when, 1, you voted against your own interests, and 2, knowing darn well that if Black Americans come out there, it's going to get brutal. You know why? Because they know that Black Americans are very resilient. You knock us down 10 times, we'll get up 20 times. And then they're going to come out with the rubber bullets. They're going to come out with a whole bunch of more stuff because they know how resilient Black people are. It's not going to be all pretty and sweet the way you think it is. Don't ask Black Americans to come out there to be human shields for you so that some of your people can go to the back and throw stuff at cops, and then you have Black Americans out there taking the beatings. We've already figured that out. We're on to you. And the third thing I want you to remember is that President Trump told you this would happen. Despite the warnings, Latinos for Trump and that other group from Michigan voted for him anyway. And look what happened to their people. And in all fairness, no one owes you anything. And the last thing I want you to remember is that your entitlement is unbelievable. Your animosity is directed at the wrong group. Not everybody who's Black supported Kamala. Some people who didn't like Kamala, they voted against her for immigration enforcement. So that's the other thing you have to remember. Not everybody in the Black community is okay with open borders. So you have to come to terms with that. But the reality is that we're going to be all right regardless of who's in office. And that's because many of us come from humble beginnings. We know how to stretch a dollar. Black Americans are just resting at this point. Nobody is going to go out and be a human shield for you. This is what you voted for. You voted for mass deportations. But I will say this, my heart goes out to all the children who have been affected by the mass deportation. We are just puzzled as to why you all voted the way that you did. And even those of us who are a little bit more conservative still feel bad for you and your children if they're affected by these mass deportations. But unfortunately, that train has already left the station. Enough of you did not come together in your community to make a difference. So I would say you need to focus on uniting your own community. Latinos for Trump, leave us the f alone. Well, that's it. That's all I have to say about the situation. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with someone else who likes this type of commentary. Until next time, thanks for watching.